Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Another day of records. States reported a record 1.7 million tests, 170,000 cases. That basically breaks the graph on that chart that we use from the COVID-19 tracking folks. And most worryingly, 69,000 hospitalizations, now 9,000 above the all-time record that was set earlier this year. Also, 1,300 people died because deaths are going up, because deaths always go up after cases, as we have seen time and time and time again, because we knew this was coming, because we have seen the fires raging out of control. And here's the thing. We are on our own. You, me, the American people, and our local leaders, Republican and Democrat, at every level of government, on our own. As the virus tears across the country, setting new records day by day, threatening hospital systems coast to coast, we are seeing urgent distress signals being sent up from people at the heart of the crisis, all kinds of people from all walks of life, from all over the country. The Mississippi State Health Officer says there is not a single free intensive care unit bed in the capital city of Jackson as the state battles a surge of cases. Sarah Newton, she's the chief medical officer of the hospital in tiny Linton, North Dakota, population 997. She told the Washington Post she saw coronavirus cases begin surging in late September and October, and on some days, ill patients filled the hospital. I felt so emotionally overwhelmed by what I was seeing, I felt like I was screaming into a void. I was drowning in my own hospital. In Oklahoma City, medical director David Chansome recorded this snapshot of what it's like in his hospital right now.
Hospitals are getting fuller and fuller and fuller. The ICU is full at all of our facilities.
So this is one of our younger patients here in the hospital. She's been here for 5 days. So what's been the toughest part of all of this?
Breathing.
Breathing. Okay.
All right, here we are in the intensive care unit.
Oh, hi.
Taking care of the COVID patients for what is, again, a very full unit.
Amidst this obvious nationwide crisis, there are some local officials that are just shrugging their shoulders and carrying on. Like, for instance, Republican Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, who remains steadfast against any preventative measures like mask mandates or lockdowns, as her state suffers not just one of the worst outbreaks in the country, one of the worst in the world in the history of the pandemic. But there are many others, again, both Democrat and Republican, from the mayor of El Paso to the governor of Utah to the mayor of Chicago, that are attempting to thread an impossible needle. Stopping the spread of the virus would require dramatic action, closing certain businesses like bars and gyms, probably ending indoor dining, just to begin with. But doing that would likely kill off thousands of the small businesses that have managed to survive this far, because crucially, there's no federal aid coming. And so instead, these local officials are taking these half measures. Closing restaurants, bars, and gyms at 10 p.m. in New York, which we know are not going to stop the virus and may not even save the businesses in the end if the situation spirals out of control again and we all have to just shut it all down. I mean, if things get bad enough and the hospital systems truly begin to melt down, going back to sheltering in place will be the only remaining option. And nobody wants to do that. But I got to say, just talking to you with a little bit of experience now covering this, people should probably start preparing for that possibility. The only way to solve this problem right now is with national federal leadership. The Republican mayor of El Paso put it plainly, we need more help. He's a Republican, from the federal government to protect public health. But of course, that's not forthcoming because the head of the federal government has been sulking and losing his mind on Twitter since losing the election. He made his first public remarks in 7 days this afternoon, practically boasted about how he has no plan to do anything about the spread of the virus in the immediate future.
This administration will not be going to a lockdown. Hopefully whatever happens in the future, who knows which administration it will be. I guess time will tell. But I can tell you this administration will not go to a lockdown. There won't be necessity. Lockdowns cost lives, and they cost a lot of problems. The cure cannot be, you got to remember, cannot be worse than the problem itself, and I've said it many times.
9 months into this, and this utter fool, this loser fool, still doesn't understand there are things between just do nothing and let the wave of death wash over the nation and shutting down. Joe Biden urged the president to do something today, writing in a statement, quote, "I am the president-elect, but I will not be president until next year. The crisis does not respect dates on the calendar. It is accelerating right now. Urgent action is needed today, now, by the current administration, starting with an acknowledgement of how serious the current situation is." Now, the president and his allies don't seem to have any interest in heeding the call. Get this, this is really the most revealing detail. In the Senate, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, what is he up to? Well, he's just lining up votes on judges. That's what he's doing, instead of working on a relief package. Maybe he'll vote for judges on the day we hit 1 million new cases. Wouldn't that be a great day? At a certain level, this all, of course, makes sense. It was eminently predictable. From the beginning, Donald Trump has seen the virus as a political problem to be managed in terms of his reelection. And I got to be honest, his approach to downplay it, to tell people not to let it dominate their lives, I think it had some real appeal and political upside, because no one wants to shelter in place. No one wants their lives disrupted. It's absolutely brutal. And so a lot of people went back to normal, particularly in states governed by Republicans who pushed that line. And that normal, that made things feel like we had turned the corner. We'd sort of gotten over it. And it probably redounded to the electoral benefit of the Republican Party in a lot of places. And then the election happened, and now we're seeing the price of that normal. Just since Election Day, more than 11,000 people have died. And Republican federal leadership just nowhere to be found because the election's over. They don't care anymore. In fact, they care so little, this is what Senator Rick Scott of Florida was up to today, speaking at a packed indoor rally in Georgia, campaigning for the runoff elections there. That's what they care about now, the next election. They have basically abandoned the country to the virus. But unfortunately, even if the president's fifis are hurt and all Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans care about are winning runoffs and packing the courts with more judges before Trump leaves, the federal government is the only game in town for providing what we need. Businesses are going to close. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to run out of money. People are going to get sick. More people are going to get sick. Hospital systems will melt down, unlike anything we've seen before. And too many people are going to die. We need help now.